Hi, this is Jessica Kim, trainer with CCS Mid-Atlantic. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a new widget for Smart Response called the Word Cloud. To get started, we're going to talk about how to get that widget. So you want to go to Smart Exchange. To get there, there's two ways to do that. You can go onto your browser and type in exchange.smarttech.com, or if you're already in Notebook, you can go to the shortcut by clicking on the Exchange icon in your toolbar, which is located at the top. Now, one thing to note is to get this widget, you must have Notebook 11.2 and you must have Smart Response. One thing to note about that Smart Response is it will only work with Smart Response PE, XE, and VE. It will not work with Response LE. So, if you do not have Smart Notebook 11.2 yet, you want to go to smarttech.com, go to the Support tab and Software Downloads. From there, you're going to scroll over to where it says Smart Notebook and choose a version. And you want to click on either 11.2 for Windows or 11.2 for Mac, and then follow the prompts. Once you've downloaded the correct version of Notebook, you want to then go to Smart Exchange. Make sure you're logged into Smart Exchange because otherwise you won't be able to download the widget properly. If you don't have an account for Smart Exchange yet, it's free, so I highly recommend that you do it because there's a lot of incredibly great resources for you. Once you're in Smart Exchange and logged in, you want to click on File Type. And you want to go down to Widgets. Once you're there, you want to sort by the newest first because it's a little bit easier to find this. You'll notice that there's quite a few new widgets, so make sure that you take some time to explore those. Anytime you're downloading a widget or any resource from Smart Exchange, you want to make sure that you actually not just do a left click on download because that's going to take you to your downloads folder and sometimes it's a little bit hard to find them. What I highly recommend is that you right click on that download button and go to Save Link As. And I recommend that you have a designated folder in your documents file or on your desktop. So you'll notice that I have a Smart Exchange folder and I actually have a folder just for my Smart Widgets and my Smart 3D content. If you want more information on 3D content or Smart Response, please contact CCS. I've actually downloaded Word Cloud already, so I'm going to hit cancel instead of save. Once you have that downloaded, you're going to go open up your notebook file and go to your gallery. And I'm going to close that for a second. Once you're in gallery, you're going to go to your My Content folder and you're going to right click and go to Add to My Content. You're going to search through your documents, go to your wherever you saved it to, and find that Word Cloud widget and open. And this goes for any widget. Now, your widgets are going to be interactive and multimedia files. So I'm going to open up a blank page just to show you how this works. So I'm going to open up that folder, and since it's a word cloud, it's at the very bottom, and I'm going to drag it into my page. It's a flash object, so don't forget. Now, it's a pretty small icon, and that's fine. You'll notice it's pretty simple, but it's very powerful. And there's a play button, and then there's a gear icon. I'm going to show you that gear icon because that's your settings. Now, there's automatically going to be a check mark where it says live updates. I want to make sure that check mark is there because I want to see what my students are doing live. Okay? If you want the students to not be able to see each other's responses, you might want to uncheck that so they're not being influenced by each other, and that's fine. Also, if you wanted to be case sensitive, you can do that. And then you can also determine how many responses you want the students to be able to have. Now, if you're working with your entire class, so if you're working with 20 or 30 students, maybe you want to limit it to 3 or 5. If you're working with a smaller group, you could increase it to maybe 10. We're going to keep it at 5. Once you've set your settings, you're going to go back and hit that arrow. Once you've set that, you're going to hit the play button. You'll give it a second, and you'll notice that there's a number that comes up. I'm using Smart Response VE. That means Virtual Edition. So with the VE, it allows my students to use any web-enabled device. So that is the assessment ID. So they would go to, and it's trying to work, give it a second, my computer's being a little slow, so I apologize for that. They would go to response.smarttech.com, which I actually have up here, and they would type in that assessment ID number, 956167, 956167. And basically what you want to do is give them something to create a word cloud about. Alright, so let's say you just read a poem and you want your students to respond to it. Or let's say you just, let's say you read an Edgar Allan Poe poem, okay, and typically they're very dark and dreary and gloomy. So they're going to give you words that express how they felt after hearing the poem or reading it. So they might type in dreary, gloomy, and I'm just going to do a few. Dark, scary, suspenseful. Okay. And you could hit submit. And what you'll notice is that those words are going to appear. And these are just objects. And I'm going to use my iPhone here to input some additional answers. Just bear with me for a moment. And I'm going to actually repeat a few of these words. So I'm going to put in dark, and dreary, and since I'm using my iPhone, it's a little bit slower. And as I'm doing this, you'll notice at the very corner here of the word cloud, it's telling me how many responses I've gotten. And you might have noticed that the word dark and dreary are a little bit larger. And that's because more people have also input that. So I'm going to actually put in the word dark and dreary again, just to emphasize that the more people input the exact same words, it tends to get larger. So you can see how your students, if they're all agreeing with one another, they're going to those words are going to become larger. Now, you can move these around and so forth. If you're done, obviously, having just done it on my web browser on my iPhone, it's not a whole lot here. If you're done, and they can do this on their iPads, if you're a BYOB school, or if you have an iPad one-to-one initiative and so forth. If you're done, you can go ahead and press stop. If you want to resume, you can press play, and you can see how many students have input. And then on theirs, because there's no correct answer, it'll just tell them that they got all of them correct because there was no right or wrong answer, because it's just really asking for their opinion. You can get rid of that word cloud if you no longer need it. You can use this to build upon. Now, if you want some additional ideas of how to use word clouds, if you Google word clouds with images, there's a bunch of different ones. You can also do this if you're trying to teach adjectives at a younger age group. So if you're talking about whales and you're talking about different things, if you want to have students respond to a book that they read and put a character's name out there, put a bunch of different adjectives for the character. So you can, I really recommend using Google and seeing some of the different ideas that people have put out there for word clouds. And you can have them do this independently even, or in small groups. And remember, these are all objects, so you can have them rotate them and change the different colors and really kind of almost make it look like a Wordle if you want. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me at jkim@ccsprojects.com. Some additional resources for you if you're interested in some training for Smartboard is www.ccsmidatlantic.com. There we have some information on how you can come to our Columbia office to get training. And we also have our training website where I post up videos. So here is our ccsmidatlantic.com, and if you go to the trainings tab and go down to workshops, we have some trainings that are listed currently all throughout the summer. We post some up pretty much every month. You can sign up by just hitting register now. You'll notice some are free. If some of those days don't work out, email me and we can try to see how we can accommodate you. We also have on our training website some pictures of some of the jobs that we've done, and if you go to our resources tab under tips and tricks, we have other videos of things that we've done, and some screenshots of how you can download widgets and stuff like that. So check us out. Like I said, if you have any other questions, email me and I'd be more than glad to help you out. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys next time.